Yo, what up? It's Big Dan Rodan. Welcome you to another episode of BNR, my friends, my barflies. How y'all doing?
What's up?
BNR.
BNR. What does that stand for?
Booze.
What else?
News.
Yeah.
And review.
Oh, yeah. As always, I am never by myself, but let me introduce myself.
Tell them who
It
he
is Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Rodan.
Rodan.
Coming at you live from the 215. Your comic book connoisseur, your sommelier of sci-fi and superheroes here. Welcome you to another episode of BNR. One more time. Last time. Oh, I like that.
I like that slow burn you gave me. You got a little,
yeah.
you couldn't give it to him all at once.
And as you already know, I'm never by myself. Never by myself. It's always us tree.
Oh?
Us tree.
Tree.
Tree. I said tree.
It was like an island flare.
Island, a little southern.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
But Sterling.
Hey,
How we
everybody. Welcome to Booze News and Reviews. Now, they call me the stalwart shield of South Philly, ace trainer of West Willie, the living codex, Cyborg's favorite guy who runs and gets some coffee. Don't ask if he wants motor oil. It's not funny. Sterling Spencer, happy to welcome you guys to the Blerd Bar presents Booze News and Reviews. I have a man to my right that is about to introduce himself, and he about to lay it out for him. All right,
You about to go home, bro.
Let's go. This has been great. But
Talk to your camera.
all right, talk to him. Hey, Tizai.
Hey.
Hailing from the land of sake, shinobi, and samurai. The boy is Godzilla personified. No other name but this to go by. Blah, 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 blah.
you having too much fun, John.
I am. It's your boy, Jayhawk. What's up?
Your camera privileges are revoked.
Never that.
Well, it's another episode, gentlemen.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining us.
Episode 2.
Everybody, one, thank you for being here with us. But stop what you're doing.
Yes.
You need to hit that little bell so you don't miss a video, and tell us the things that you are excited to talk about. Tell us where we're wrong. Tell us where we're right. Tell us what you want to see on a t-shirt, but drop it in the comments below.
Or you can even suggest if we could review something. I'm fine with that.
That's true.
It's summertime, baby.
I watch Miraculous Ladybug.
Okay.
So, what are we talking about with Booze News and Reviews? Are we going to get into some booze right now?
I think so.
Hey.
We'll switch it over to you.
Okay.
You know, talk to him real nice.
Drunken-
All right, man. Well, for booze, we have none other than Uncle Nearest. Is it even? There it is.
There
Uncle
it is.
Nearest. And this is 1856. It's a blend of premium aged whiskeys between 8 and 14 years old. It has a caramel color, or caramel, whichever you like to say, with a beautiful deep golden hue. On the nose, baled hay and pumpkin seeds with subtle notes of ripe stone fruit and caramel corn, bold and spicy up front, then mellows with sweet caramel and maple, like biting into an oatmeal raisin cookie. The finish is long and rich. It lingers pleasantly between on the palate with notes of vanilla after the spice dissipates. I'm going to open it real quick. This is it's fresh.
I'm really curious about how much. Now I'm going to taste the oatmeal cookie
Because they said it?
because they told me I was going to taste the
I'm
oatmeal
worried.
cookie.
Primed
I'm
you for
slightly
it?
concerned.
I feel
Do you
like
not
I've
like
been.
oatmeal cookie?
I love an oatmeal cookie. I don't think I've ever drank
An oatmeal cookie?
I have
That's
100%
real.
drank it. You ain't never take a cookie and break it up over
Over some alcohol? Sure.
milk.
You know me.
I was going to say milk.
Be careful. This is 100 proof. So I'm going to let you guys pour that while I continue to talk about it.
I'm going to go ahead and just take a sip.
Appearance, light caramel, straw hay, beautiful deep golden hue. Nose, bell of hay, dried grass, stone fruit notes of ripe peach and apricot, caramel corn and sweet maple. Palate, spicy caramel up front with the proof. Hints of maple, then mellows with dried fruit and floral notes. Sweetness and spice reminiscent of freshly baked oatmeal raisin cookies. Finish, long and rich finish, lingers pleasantly sweet on the palate, notes of vanilla. This is Uncle Nearest 1856 Premium Whiskey.
Whiskey.
Now, I feel like I'm doing a disservice by not drinking out of a tumbler. but I miss my mug so much after it broke.
It's
I have my placeholder Chewbacca mug.
It's coming back next season.
Yeah, it is. But I'm gonna try this. I think I have enough on my stomach here.
You live here, buddy.
I mean, it's Big Dan. Big Dan always got enough on the stomach.
You do live here.
It is spicy. I get the vanilla. It's so warm. That's so nice.
Ooh.
So warm.
It's like, it's easy going too. I was expecting like to get hit in the face with an oatmeal cookie.
It's subtle.
But that was like a warm oatmeal cookie from like one of those cookie places that stay up open till 1 a.m. allegedly until you get there at 12:50 and the door's already locked.
Okay, that was very, very specific.
It's delicious. What do you think, our drunken master?
It is surprisingly smooth. There is some heat to it.
Yeah, yeah.
There is
a little burn. You know,
if you go into it wrong, it'll shock you.
You gotta respect the uncle. You gotta go in here with respect.
Like, hey man.
Okay.
Outside of that, I do think it's really good. It kind of does remind me of was it honey? Like Jack Daniel's honey, but it's not. I would love to see what Uncle Nearest would do if he would ever do that. Like a
I feel Uncle Nearest is not with us anymore.
Well, he's not, but I'm saying the company. You know,
no, I feel what you're saying.
Where are you? You were just being Big Dan.
Being Big Dan.
Okay, that's
cool.
Big
Dan energy all day.
All right.
BDE.
That's a shirt.
Nah, that's not what people are going.
No,
please continue.
No one BDEs. No one will read into that correctly.
But no, I like it. It's smooth. It would probably only be smoother with like one of
little
those big
ginger ale.
ice.
The big ice.
Yeah. Oh no, shouldn't there be some? I thought I put ginger ale somewhere. Maybe
it's in the fridge.
Oh well, then we're just straight with the 100 proof. But yeah, I like it. So.
All right.
How many? Oh, do we do that? We're not doing
we didn't do it, but we should do
how
it.
Many,
nah, that's great.
What would you rate it? Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, 4 out of 5. Easy. I drink this. This is wonderful. In fact, I'm going to drink more of it very slowly.
And responsibly.
Responsibly, as you should.
Extremely responsible. I do my own taxes.
My mugs. How many mugs I give it? I give it 4. That's a solid whiskey.
I think it's great, right?
It's a solid whiskey.
And then as I'm sitting here, I'm just appreciating it like more because it's still here. It's still present.
No, I feel like I took a sip of history right now. I feel like, the ancestors are proud. But I don't think I can have a lot of this. I had to be responsible.
Big Dan going to start telling some big truths.
Given what we're reviewing tonight, I don't think I need any extra motivators here.
True.
So
we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun, guys.
I would have to agree. I would probably give it 4. Yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
4 across the board. Uncle Nearest.
Yeah.
Always got to see at the bar, baby.
Yeah.
It's top shelf. This is Blerd bar top shelf.
I do agree. Like I know I'm sure there are whiskey drinkers out there who are about to cringe, but like I do agree that I would probably put it with some ginger ale, or maybe like a huge ice
That's
cube.
because this is something like you've worked, for 40 years at your job. You come home, and you're like, the wife has already, or the spouse has already presented you with the greatness of the day. You unwind, you kick back in your lazy boy, and then you turn on some Jeopardy. And that's it.
Hosted by LeVar Burton.
Which is dope.
Which is definitely dope. But no, I just feel like this is like an end of the day whiskey. This is not a
turn up
brunch whiskey. This is not something you like. This probably is. These days, everything you can brunchify anything.
If there is brunch whiskey, please let me know in the comments.
Probably. But yeah, no, this is something like you done. This is it. You're not getting up out your lazy boy.
I ain't going back out.
I ain't going back out.
Gotcha. Sweatpants.
Right. Sweatpants. This is sweatpants.
I put my pajamas on.
The bonnet's on, baby.
It's like, where are my shoes? No, slippers, dog. This is it. But on to bigger and better things. News.
Got some news.
So, I'll go first. Anthony Mackie is pretty much saying that he'll probably see his Captain America role to Captain America 4. He's not seeing anything beyond that. But that's a fair way to feel. in this day and age, especially with the comic books, having him not be Captain America for very long.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why he would be like, if they'll have me, sure. Mm-hmm. But if they won't, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. So
he's not going to pull a Terrence Howard and demand more.
Stop. He can see me outside any day of the week.
All right, who we got pulling up to the Blerd bar? Terrence Howard, Rami Malek, Zack Snyder. The list goes on, man.
Why the Last Man is scheduled to release on Hulu about September.
That's bold.
I'm excited.
That's bold. I gotta go back and read it.
Given how Handmaid's Tale was handled by Hulu, I think Why the Last Man should do a really good job, at least for the first season. I don't know how that looks beyond that, but this is a very weird story to tell in this day and age. Especially with the conversation around gender and politics and all of that. Mind you, this series was written almost like 20 years ago.
Yep.
So, however they modernize that, or if they modernize it at all, Vertigo's comic Why the Last Man should be releasing in September.
We will see.
Oh, and last but not least, E3 obviously going on. I believe they wrapped up yesterday, correct?
Feeling it. Feeling it.
Uncle returns.
I see you, Unc. I see you out here. Anyway, Bethesda Studios has announced that StarField, its sci-fi single-person
massive
RPG game, will be releasing end of year.
Ooh.
Or is it scheduled for next year? I might be wrong about that. Don't quote Big Dan. But they released a trailer. Ubisoft released a trailer for their Avatar game. James Cameron's Avatar game. Don't know what that's going to be. I'm not excited for it, but it is happening. The only thing I think I was really excited about from E3 was Battlefield 2042. I think this might be the Warzone killer. Call of Duty Warzone killer.
Don't quote him on that.
No. Quote me on that. I think that's going to be happening. They're not doing Battle Royale. It's strictly multiplayer.
Like the days of old.
But what they are doing is matches that include 128 people at one time. That's ambitious. On top of the map always being changing falling apart and all of the things that Battlefield has done in the past, on top of like the giant scale that they're using with next gen consoles. I'm excited. Servers. E3 has more than enough space for servers. They take all of our money through microtransactions. Anyway, that's enough for my news.
Well, I'm just going to kind of slide over because I was going to say stuff about E3, but we'll do a whole wrap up about things we're excited about, and we will post that in the notes. You can follow us at the Blerd Bar on social media, where all three of us rant about things sometimes at the same time. But Josh, what's news, buddy?
All right, so I only have really two pieces of news. First up, Seiko Watch celebrates Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary. One of the latest items to come from Seiko, the watch is full of Sonic design elements and is due to come out in mid-August and limited to just 3,000 units, complete with a Green Hill Zone motif. The watch can be yours for roughly $450.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah, that's
nice.
That's it.
I got a kid on the way. There's just no way.
But goodness.
Kids are more expensive than watches.
Right.
Much more.
And then Netflix formally announces Castlevania Universe, new series set during French Revolution. Netflix has announced the first details on what it is now formally calling the Castlevania Universe after the fourth and final season of the first series premiered in May, and confirmation that the franchise would continue. The new season will be set in France during the French Revolution in 1792 and feature Sypha. Is that her name?
Sypha.
There it is. Sypha and Renard's, there it is, descendant Richter Belmont, along with Maria Renard, suggesting a continuation of the story set in season 4, which places the new series in between Dracula X, Rondo of Blood, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night on the game timeline. So that should be, I guess, interesting.
We'll see. I mean, Richter is one of the main guys. Dracula X is one of the best received Castlevanias. So we'll see. It'll be cool.
We will see. That's all I got.
I did forget one piece of news. Netflix is picking up the Berserk series
In
Keanu Reeves. And Keanu will be voicing
Guts,
the Berserk character.
Wait, Keanu's Berserk.
Keanu's Berserk,
Not
comic book.
Berserk, the
Not
manga.
the manga, no.
Very
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Very important.
Thank you for clarifying. Because mind you, I live in the world of comic books. Now.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
I just do what I can.
Thanks for translating.
Right.
I do what I can.
But yes, it's the Image comic book.
Berserk.
Gotcha. All right, that makes more sense now.
Keanu will be voicing obviously the main character. Because why not? Keanu's like, I want to be busy.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
man keeps work.
He
Can't knock the hustle.
So look out for that. They have not released any additional information as far as the release date, but time moves on. So we're going to get over into the reviews, as you already know.
Yes.
Reviews.
I think we should start this in a very strategic way.
Okay.
We didn't mention it in news because obviously fans know, or if they were fans. I don't think they were fans because we all watched it. We all saw what went down. Jupiter's Legacy.
Jupiter's Legacy. Who's going first?
You said you had a short one.
It's my take on Jupiter's Legacy is very short.
So then go.
Okay. Things I enjoyed about Jupiter's Legacy. I think they crafted a very interesting world. As soon as I saw it was Mark Miller, I was like, oh, I don't care what they put in here. I'm watching it, right? And so I was like, oh, season 1 was kind of dry. It was very obvious, from the second episode, who the main villain was. This will contain spoilers.
You thought it was
I feel
very obvious. From when he sat down, he's like, we could have done more in World War II. I was like, that guy's a fucking nut job. But and I was like, okay, season 1 kind of dry, didn't really give me anything I was looking for, but I'm really interested in I'm bought in to season 2. And Netflix has announced the birth of the Miller World or Millerverse?
I believe it's Miller World.
The Miller World, where they'll be taking a bunch of other Miller products and storylines, but not Jupiter's Legacy.
Now they did announce a spinoff that will focus on the villains of the Jupiter's Legacy universe.
Yeah, and they said these characters may come back, but
I thought that was
not.
Yeah. They released them from their contracts. It's a mess, but
do we know? Have they said why? Because I thought that was a waste.
They didn't say why, but I think it's largely due to viewership. All those numbers are public, but they haven't really released anything. Rotten Tomatoes gave obviously who's now the authority on reviews and all of that.
Metacritic, thank you.
Rotten Tomatoes. I said what I said. I'll stand by it. Big Dan chooses violence all the time. But thank you. No, largely the reviews were mixed. And when I say mixed, more so leaning negative than mixed. So
that's interesting.
I think it was, as an overview, I think it was very interesting telling 2 stories. So you got 2 sides of the character. So I was way more bought in and interested in the 1920 story of okay, how did we get here than the 2019 or whatever current era story. The only thing I cared about was all I want is Brandon to try to be super strong, and then it turns out Chloe is the strongest person on the planet. That's all I wanted. But instead, Chloe's going off doing mystery adventures, and it's okay. Yeah, if they got a season 2, I would have been completely bought in because everything was set up. This whole season was set up, and then that you sacrifice that for okay, but we're going to have a really strong season 2. But potion bottles, 2.2. Yeah, most of the series. If you can sum up the series of white men thinking they know better than everybody else, it's usually a problem. Because I watch things for escapism.
I'm gonna let you be great. So I'm gonna go last on the Tenet review. So I'm gonna go now.
Okay.
Just because the Tenet one that's our feature
we end
review here. So This one, it was a CW show on a Netflix platform. That's my hot take.
Sure.
The CW show on a Netflix platform. Quote me on that.
Yeah, I can see it.
Everybody.
I can see it.
There was just there was a lot of tropes, a lot of cliche and dialogue writing. Like they made it easy, and I think that was to make it palatable. But when it wanted to be dark, it was too late. The special effects almost immediately take me out of it. Almost immediately take me out of the show, just because it's just like, okay, wires, okay, CGI.
Oh, like the flipping.
Yeah, like there was certain shots that they probably could have just like cut, like when they like did the sound effect of someone like flying off screen. They actually went ahead and showed them flying off screen. I was like, you want to stick with that shot? With that scene, you could with that. You could have got that in post. Anyway, running joke. As far as story goes, I was, like you said at Sterling, I was very much interested in the origin versus like the current world. And once again, this was very CW nuanced as far as like how Arrow did it. Arrow did like flashbacks, and then it was telling a current story, and then it did flashbacks, and then it was telling two stories at the same time for like the first 4 seasons.
Wow.
But it worked for Arrow. It did not work here. Would I have been? I would have watched the second season only because I had ended up watching this season.
This show,
right? Because I finished this show, or the first season of the show, I was like, I guess I got to see what happens next, guys. But honestly, I could have stopped around episode 4 because everything connected at episode 4 for me, and I was like, okay, I know who Sky Fox is. I know who, like the dad,
Sheldon.
Yeah, and all of it. It connected very quickly for me. So I was like, Netflix, not your best work, but I like Mark Miller. I love Mark Miller as far as a writer and like comic books and all that stuff. And I was like, he normally tells a very like gritty story. Yeah. And I think they wanted to try to encapsulate the gritty story, but did not give you a complete story. And so for that, it failed. So I'd give it a 2 because it's, when it comes to superhero shows, superhero shows, this was straight up like the lowest of the lowest form of like spandex stuff. Like,
was it worse than Iron Fist?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what? I wouldn't have said that at first, but it was worse than Iron Fist. And the only reason why I say that is just because it was an easy story to tell.
Yeah.
Iron Fist was a little bit more complicated, had a little bit more depth, but and like you could as long as you ignored one singular character in Iron Fist was enjoyable.
Like the main character?
The main character. But as long as you ignore Danny Rand, like everybody else is kind of enjoyable. This, I didn't find anyone likable in this show.
I liked Hutch. I wanted to understand what his motivations were.
It has to do with the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dude with the best hair.
There it is.
The only like brown character that didn't seem to have powers.
No, he didn't have powers. That's his thing.
He does have powers. And that was another thing. There was just like they were telling too many stories at one point, and I think I just didn't care. Like the daughter
going through her
thing. And like
I'm not here for that.
Right. Or then it was like the black, like she was like a drug addict, but then you have superpowers. So I'm like where's the limit, right? Like, does it not flow through your blood or whatever? Like,
I don't know. Yeah. How much food does the Flash have to eat? Right.
So I was being very nerdy about it, and that could be why I was very judgmental. But Josh, how do you feel?
Yes.
So
talk to your camera, Josh.
You're giving me.
I'm going to give you. I got you.
Right, I didn't know if I needed the camera, but
always talk to me.
So I felt as though I agreed that there were 2 stories being told.
That was true. That was true. Were they good stories? Let's talk about it.
I think the issue with the 2 stories being told that I think that my other co-hosts are hitting on is that there was no real reason to to break these stories up. Like usually if you see a flashback, it's because like the person is, or the director is connecting it to something that's happening in the present. And I don't know if that was happening. I think we were just jumping back and forth for the sake of jumping back and forth. I was also very interested in how they got their powers. And I do think that was a more interesting, compelling story. And one that could have been season 1, and then you follow up with season 2 of being in the present day. What I actually enjoyed about this series is I think they asked important questions of, if the old stuff doesn't work, what do you do next?
Yeah, that's always an interesting narrative.
I think it maybe I missed that. I think
and this is my question: how could you miss it? Because it was that's what I felt like was being beat over the head with me.
When I say miss it, I think I missed the importance of it because the stories they were telling didn't always seem to align with that. Like they kept bringing it up, but like until the you see it in the first episode, and then you see it in the final episode, like that dilemma for real. Mm-hmm. And then the wife or the mom has the issue with like the other like really kind-hearted girl getting killed.
Right.
But outside of that, right, like you see the devolving of the situation for everybody, but it didn't seem like that was the story they wanted to tell. Like that's what I felt like because of the flashbacks, and then Chloe being so important as far as whatever her downward spiral was, and then like Brandon just wanting to be his dad, even regardless of the rules that they had in place, it was just more of like a crappy dad, like Goku and Gohan, you know, all over again, trying to do things differently.
I would definitely say that Goku could possibly be a better dad than this guy.
Dude, Goku was 100% better dad than Sheldon. Are you kidding me?
I would agree with that. Goku was definitely Goku was dad of the year when it comes to this.
Sheldon was horrible.
Omni-Man might be a better dad than Sheldon.
No, that's not true.
Think, Josh. Think.
That's not true.
No, but we know other things.
Yeah.
We know other things.
No
comic thing.
All right, stop it.
Gotcha.
Don't do that.
I get what you're saying. But no, I think it was a very interesting story. I just think that there was stuff. It was all very interesting, but there was no sticking of the landing, I'll say.
Okay, that's fair.
And so because of that, when you get to the end of the series, it's like, okay, all right, I'm intrigued to see how this pans out if they ever go back and explain what happened to the black guy and why he's in a wheelchair, and like and why does who was his name? Skyfox? Fox? Stormfox? Skyfox. How he
crappy name, by the way.
How he got the son, like, so for me, whenever I see a cast of white people, and then I see
like, he got a black son,
right?
Tell us more.
I'm like, we're not gonna. All right,
maybe 2021.
Josh, but you were like, where your mama, dog?
Right. That's what I'm waiting for.
On top of the fact that like they were born in like they were alive in the 1920s. So yes. I think that is important, just because you're like, racism happened.
Like,
dog, you only 30, so.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's going on?
Same thing with Brainwave. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm daughter, like, where's your mama? Because
Japan.
Him can't walk no more.
But
he ain't got no legs.
Outside, and honestly, it's just, I don't know if it's just because the world we live in, but like when I see something like that, it really sticks out to me, where I'm like, this has to make sense. That's taking me out.
Because he's a villain. I feel like if he's a hero, then one love, baby.
No, I still need to know. I personally need to know the lineage, because to me it just sticks out so boldly that it's like, because it's almost like, are you meeting a quota? Is there a reason for this? Like, I just need to know. Outside of that,
that's a valid point.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I thought it was okay. I think it got dark when it needed to get dark. I think, between the daughter being a F up, between people dying while they're fighting, them using guns. Like, I thought it made sense. Oh, that was another thing. The chick who came in and like kicked the son's ass when he was like, you should have called for backup.
Yeah.
Like,
where did she go?
Yeah, like I thought that was supposed to be like important.
Right. Where did you come from?
Maybe that's in the Miller world. I don't know. Yes. But like, I think stuff like that is what makes me more like upset that it's going to like a Miller world and not like an actual season 2, because I think they did a nice way of setting up their sandbox to really play and delve into, and they just decided not to for whatever reason. Yeah. But no, I give it a 3. I thought it was an average superhero, like the new average, right? Because before you had the average was but the average was like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, right? Where it's just like,
I need you to watch your mouth. But
wasn't the average Smallville?
Because it's a show, possibly.
Yeah. I feel like you talking about like baseline for superhero shows.
Yeah, like it was a baseline superhero show, because now the
bar is relatively
what you reach for is like Marvel-esque. So it's like, I
don't know, Umbrella Academy does very well in its own vein.
It does.
Well, Umbrella Academy is not a story about superheroes; it's a story about a family.
But I would argue that this is the same thing, but it's either you have the nucleus family of Utopia, but then you have the family of the 7, right? Like, and they're the family that they chose because they're friends and yada, yada, yada. They had to go through all these trials and tribulations that brought them back together or brought them closer together. Okay. So it's like, it's a big family story, extended and nuclear. So I see your qualms with it, but at the same time, I think a lot of that would have been addressed in season 2.
Yeah.
Which
I agree, but I probably would have, my score probably would have went up with the season 2. But as a standalone, first season, making out of its first season, I'm gonna give it the most realistic score I can give it. 2, buddy.
I give it a 3.
Best I can do.
Best I can do is a 2.
I give it a 3. I thought it was average. There's nothing to write home about. I think they asked some interesting questions, like I said before, what do you do when the rules of the game, rules of engagement are changed? I think that's really important. They tickled with capitalism in the second episode, I think it was. Briefly. I think they could have went deeper into that, like who funds them. But yeah, a 3.
We get there when we get there. Yeah. So, not to delay the inevitable, I think we're going to jump right to our event of the evening.
You don't want to do what was it, Castlevania?
I mean, we went in on.
We did go a lot longer than I thought.
Castlevania for me is actually going to be really quick.
So I think so, because it's a final season. So,
what say you, sir?
I thought it was cool. I never played the games. I thought they told an interesting story. I watched it in English and felt fine. The action was cool. They showed the different fight styles, which I really appreciated. I give it 3.5.
I'm sorry. Are we gonna go?
No. I can go, I guess.
Castlevania. The 4th season of Castlevania is one of my favorite pieces of media of all time. Period. I absolutely love it. I tell people to watch all of Castlevania to get to season 4, because it's so. The build up, like season 1 was too short. Season 2 was paced very strangely. Season 3 was very sad. And then season 4 was this beautiful wrap up that gave you everything we were looking for. I loved I loved seeing the different types of love and relationships. And I loved seeing our heroes come together. Cause that's the thing.
The culmination of it.
Yeah. And, Alucard's like my favorite character. So it was very great to see him like be better and be able to be vulnerable to a person. Absolutely great. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5 for the entire series. How do you feel?
For the entire series, 4.3.
4.3.
4.3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still good. The animation is fucking untouchable, dog.
Pristine.
Untouchable.
I would say 4.5 for the final season. I think what I wanted was more of a selfish thing of just seeing more Isaac.
Isaac.
He is a very interesting character that I do wish.
Such an interesting character, and I was like, if we just had a show about him. Yasuke could have been thrown out, and I would have.
That's a lot of words. Playboy.
I would have watched.
That's a lot of words.
I would have watched the whole.
Give him the sheesh. Give him the sheesh.
But no, I don't know. That's.
Tell me right now that you wouldn't have watched the whole show.
The Yasuke that we have.
I'm talking about the Yasuke.
The potential.
Right. I'm not talking about his story.
I'm
not talking about his story.
We don't.
I'm talking about the existing Netflix one versus Isaac. who would you have taken to have a full-length show?
This is not a fair comparison because we have a Yasuke show concretely, but everything that we can dream up about Isaac will always make Yasuke.
If you do the same with the potential of Yasuke versus the potential of Isaac, I would have picked Yasuke. The potential of Yasuke.
I agree with it. I mean, I feel you on that. I would have chosen Isaac just because I like the more of the mage.
That's true. That's true.
Perspective.
I see your build. Blerd Bar Realms.
It's going to happen. Blerd Bar is definitely going to do some D&D and record it and hopefully not be canceled for it.
What? Why would we get canceled?
I make weird choices. I already know what's going to happen.
Just don't do that. Let's move on.
Yeah. So the drink of choice, I guess, what we serving up right now. You guys have probably already seen the movie. It's been out for a while.
Long time.
It was in theaters, but we just finally got to see it on HBO Max because pandemic and who's spending that extra money on Amazon, to own a movie when you could stream it. Right. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about Tenet. Now, anybody who is a fan of Big Dan, or at least tolerates Big Dan, knows Big Dan don't like time travel.
You've only talked about it, if not every episode, every other.
Every other.
Every third.
No.
Hashtag defund time travel. That is my hashtag from now on.
That could be a shirt.
It might be a shirt. You know what we might do for my birthday? I'll do a special event of just. It'll be up for the month of July. Hashtag defund time travel.
There it is.
There we go.
Get yours now.
Get yours
before you come back from the future to stop you to get yours. Please continue.
I hate you. So I'm going last on this just because I have feelings.
Okay.
You should probably go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this story. Well, one, I'm biased. I love everything Christopher Nolan does. So I'm biased. So I went in and was like, "This is."
I'm gonna mute my mic until it's my turn. I'm just.
he's okay. I think this was a Bond-esque clandestine story with time manipulation. It's not. It didn't start out as exactly time travel, then became time travel. And I think one of my favorite things is literally they tackle within the first 25 minutes of the movie. We're like, well, wait, what about this one thing about time travel? And they're like, just don't think about it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So somebody was like, Christopher Nolan wrote this. And somebody was like, well, what about it? And he was like, just don't think about it.
Right. Shut up.
Who asked you?
Right.
But it's great. The action is phenomenal. Of course, it's Christopher Nolan, so everything's beautiful and gives you a little bit of a headache. The pacing was really good for me. And I liked the concept. I'm proud to say I think I got 80% of everything. I did read a guide afterward to make sure I knew what was going on. Yeah, good film. I will give it a 4. 4 out of 5.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again with friends.
I'd have to agree that I would watch it again.
Yeah, you got that camera. Now you got to use it.
Now I got to use it. Boy.
Look him in the eye. Well, I don't know about
that. So I agree that I would watch it again. I feel like I also got most of it. There were also moments where they just kind of told you what was going on, which take it or leave it. It is what it is. That's what happened. I think for me, the fact that I heard so much about it, I don't know what I was expecting, but I ended it feeling a bit lackluster.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it was and I don't know why. I literally don't know why, but I know it was a cool concept. It was, I felt, executed pretty well as well as you could do it, I would think. Just the fact that you thought of the concept of this and then did it, I think that's amazing. But yeah, I just felt like something about it made me feel like this wasn't as jarring as I thought it was going to be. It also wasn't as I wasn't as awestruck as I thought it was going to be. That might be even a credit to him for making it so mechanically correct.
Okay.
And so maybe that's the whole point of it. I think also it's one of those things where it could have been a really dope series. And maybe it might, I could see it getting the, what was that? Limitless, that started off as a movie and then it became like a series on ABC or some shit like that.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing. I would not want it to be though. Just because we already have Doctor Who. So, I mean, just make Doctor Who black. It's fine. Looking at you, Idris. Right? I know. But
bold claims made by J-Hawk.
And actually, to that point, I felt like the thing that they set up with the protagonist, as he's called, and his right hand man,
Batman.
I thought, I thought that reminded me of a certain it's Doctor Who and River Song, the way their relationship is yeah, exactly. Yeah, passing through the night, but in opposite directions, all that good stuff. I thought it was cool. I thought the protagonist character, he was very suave. And I remember talking to Daniel about it, saying like, I mean, is he acting suave or is he just suave?
I'm sorry, I'm over here. What did you say?
You don't tell me when I have the camera or not.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm over here. What did you say?
All right, so
I don't remember this.
Where the receipts?
Right. When we were talking about how John David Washington, that's his name, right? Or is it David John?
No, John David.
John David. Okay. Is he acting suave or is that just like, does he just have swag?
I mean, does he get it? I mean, maybe it's genetics.
Maybe it's genetics, but I think he was actually acting because I saw what is it? The Hollywood Reporter, the Actors Roundtable. He was doing the interview with other actors, and he seems pretty cool. It was the charm was not on, so I don't know if it's just like
I mean, or he turns it on for the movies real good,
right, yeah. So yeah, I thought it was really cool, but I cannot say that I was wowed. But like I said, I think that's because the mechanical breakdown of it was just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, oh okay, that's cool. So I would still give it I give it a 4. I give it a 4 out of 5. 3.5 at the lowest, but 4. I'll say 4.
Okay. All right.
It's time.
If you could just give me a Big Dan roar real fast.
All right, here we go.
That's right. It's Big Dan energy right now.
BDE.
That's not what that means.
So let me preface by saying I have watched every movie that Chris Nolan has written, the screenplay for, or directed. I've watched every movie. Listen to me when I tell you this is my least favorite Chris Nolan movie.
Well, you hate time travel, so that makes sense.
Yes, but I also watched Interstellar, which
was
deeply confusing and also was time travel.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't confusing.
He flew through a black hole.
We don't have time.
We don't have time.
But we just don't know what happens to a black hole. That's just his interpretation, artistic expression.
Anyway, moving on. On top of Inception just being frustrating at the end, but you have to love that ending for what it was. Tenet was an interesting concept until I would say Act 3.
With the big
the
red and the blue.
Yeah.
And
I was like, okay.
The 3D glasses.
Yeah. Like the revealing mirror or whatever they call it. Or the revealing window.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously they referenced it throughout the movie and, you kind of felt something was coming. And the trailers kind of gave some of that away, but it didn't really make sense even in the trailers, which I thought they did a really good job in the trailers to make this interesting enough. Because
the seats.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan's all about spectacle, like the big pyrotechnics, the big like crashes and crumbles and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's all I ever really want from him. On top of like a slight twist in the stories, right? Although I have watched Memento, which is like a whole movie backwards, and I appreciate that.
Is that Christopher Nolan?
That is.
Yeah.
So it seems like he just has movies that make you think.
Yes.
The Prestige is also another one of those movies that just like F's with your brain. Inception, obviously, he does that. I get that. The issue I have with Tenet, like I said, breaks down in the third act when they're just like, the wind's at your back, fire feels cold.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And I was like, or like a bullet going through you isn't
Also,
the same. Like, like it causes more damage like going into your body versus coming out of your body. And I was like, these are great physics concepts that I would appreciate elsewhere. Like, this felt very much like a spy movie until it didn't. And then
it's like if Bill Nye the Science Guy was a spy.
Implying Bill Nye the Science Guy is not a spy.
Right. Or like, what's the man with the mustache?
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah.
Omni-Man?
Him too. So Neil deGrasse, like, imagine Neil deGrasse Tyson being like a super spy, like
implying Neil deGrasse Tyson. You're not. Keep up, bro. Keep up.
Yeah. Like he's just sitting there talking about something like, imagine a world where everything goes, And so I felt like that third act was very much just like to everybody, and I appreciated like seeing the little hints and like moving forward in time and then moving backwards in time.
Yeah.
But then after a while, he just doesn't care anymore about to tell you what's going on, like which direction is going which. Which obviously.
But the colors, because
no, I'm talking about once you get to the battle scene.
Oh yeah, that was confusing.
Yeah. The battle scene, and I mean, he tried to show you with the markers of the arm, but then Robert Pattinson goes forward to go back.
Yeah. That's when it gets real.
And so, mind you, my wife is annoyed with me to this point. She does not want to talk about it anymore. She's like, you don't like it, so why do you keep talking about it? I'm like, but I watched it again.
Because you have to understand it.
I gotta.
That's the OCD in me is just like, it needs to make sense. Like, I've done that with people, like friendships. Like, I'm like, how come you don't like me no more? It don't make sense.
I got the receipts.
You promised.
You promised.
Digging into my trauma. So,
You're safe here.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So, like the opera house scene, right? The backpack. Robert Pattinson apparently saves him.
Yes.
To start him on this mission.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Robert Pattinson at some point went forward in time to be enlisted by John David, the protagonist.
Yes.
Only to be sent back to help the protagonist.
Remember?
And then to initiate the protagonist's whole storyline.
Okay, so they were in the trailer, right?
We be wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
And he was like, what happens if I go back in time? And he was like, oh, the grandfather paradox, right? And he was like, what's the grandfather paradox? And he was basically like, don't worry about it. That's it.
Right.
that's
you can't just tell somebody that and then make that the plot of a movie. Like you can't
until
say
you do.
Until you
he
do.
Did it.
Right, he did it. But by then he's already got all of our money. He's like, you're here now. Haha. Like
got him.
Right.
Zap.
And then the bogus line of like, who sent you, back or whatever. He's like, or who signed you up? And he's like, oh, you did.
You didn't
We've been
figure
real
that out
friends.
yet?
And I was like, oh. And then I saw the backpack, and I'm just like, there was her seeing herself jump off the boat didn't make sense to me, because then technically that is the grandfather paradox.
Yeah.
But then it's a
lot of these.
This is why Big Dan don't like time travel. It make his brain hurt. And then this is also like we're called booze news and reviews. I can't drink booze and then adjust to address time. I just see my brain started to ooze out of my ears just now. I can't address it. And obviously once we get to Loki and all of that, like that's another thing. So that was my biggest issue with Avengers Endgame. Was just like it's using time travel as a cop out for a storyline. Every single no.
Okay.
It does not work because then there's no consequences. No one died. There's no consequences. You can just keep going back in time.
No, you really need to watch Doctor Who.
I don't believe it's not necessary. Because he just goes somewhere in time, F's it up, and then goes somewhere else.
We never go back, Morty.
Exactly. We never go back, Morty.
We never go back. Morty.
Why do you think we never go back? Because then we have to see what happens.
You should really watch Doctor Who. I'm
not doing it. Okay. I'm not doing Hashtag defund time travel. I said what I said. Big Dan is on this one.
So is it question mark out of 5? Please put that
for cinematic purposes, this is still a quality movie. Mm-hmm. So I would give that a 3. Story, I give it a 2. So that brings it to a 2.5. Acting and casting wise, I bumped that up to about a 4. I actually appreciated every person that delivered lines of dialogue in the movie.
Which was not many, actually.
Not many at all. It was like a total of 7.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, y'all doing this really well.
Mm-hmm.
And they carried an entire movie after, like, you know,
it's
the whole backwards. Yeah. So I think the stunts and cinematography were great. So I give it a 3, but Big Dan's saying what he's saying. Defund time travel.
That's fair.
I would have had I not watched it a second time, it would have easily been a 1.5. Like 1.5.
Really? Dude, it's still a cool film.
I didn't care. I was so frustrated with the ending.
Oh, okay.
You can't.
No.
Feelings.
No. Give it a low rating because you're
because of my feelings.
This game is stupid. This game is stupid. Why? Because you're not winning.
I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. So because I knew we were reviewing this, I was like, let me just be objective.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like I said, because Chris Nolan has been like my favorite director.
He's amazing.
Like for forever long. My favorite movie, obviously, everyone knows by now, is The Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. Like I've watched that movie over 200 times. Like
it's true, I've seen it.
Listen, so because of that, I was so disappointed at this movie, especially with that line of like, who, you know, how long have we known, or you know, who enlisted you or whatever, who signed you up, and he was like, haven't you realized by now? And I was just like, don't you say it, don't you say it, nigga, don't you say it. He said it. I was like, all right, y'all have a blessed night. So,
well, that was the end of the movie. So.
It was. Right. So, you know, I don't think I need to see a sequel or a spinoff of something like that.
No, I think I told a complete story. Everything else is just going like I don't
want to see his adventures of getting back to signing himself up.
Yeah. Nah.
Like that he's created a loop. That I think that's what it is about time travel. Thank you for talk this out.
Hey,
therapy.
Thank you.
I'm feeling safe now. I don't appreciate loops because, you know, then you can just tell the same story over and over again differently.
Yeah, where does the story end?
When does it end? Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's Tenet, the same forward as it is backwards.
Right.
I don't care.
That's the loop.
I don't care.
It's clever.
I don't care.
It's clever.
So
2/3 of the Blerd part thinks this is clever. You be the tiebreaker. Let us know how you.
I don't care. I get 2 points. We've reached the end of BNR. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Listen, we got merch, y'all.
Oh yeah, we do.
Comfy shirts. We got comfy shirts, you know, with the logos. We got mugs. We got banners.
A big mug.
We got banners here. You could buy a bath towel, a beach towel if you wanted to rep the Blerd bar.
We know you want this
summertime
over the threshold of your bed. So when you have company, you just let know people.
Just to remind them of 3 black guys in Philly. Just whatever. Yeah. So don't put it in your bedroom. Just find a different place.
Or. Okay, thank you very much.
Right. Apparently, Sterling's about to announce his OnlyFans for Blerd Bar.
I am not.
Uncle Nearest is hitting something serious.
Having a good time.
What are we watching next, fellows?
What are we watching next? I believe Concrete Cowboy. Correct?
Sure.
Yes.
I've seen that, yeah.
Josh is actually inverted. He's just very clever.
Josh is just going back to give us spoilers. I'm
to create the Josh is going back to create the Blerd bar.
I hate time travel.
Good night, everybody.
What were we watching? Wait.
I asked this last time, and you were like, "Don't tell them." I was like, "Okay,
yeah. All right, good night."
Josh came back.
Cut it.